What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stimulus update. If you didn't get a chance to watch the stimulus update video that I did earlier this morning that addressed what Nancy Pelosi said, what Mark Meadows said, and kind of where the current state of stimulus is at, make sure you go and watch that. I will link to that down in the description box below. But I want to make sure you really know what is going on today and also what's going to happen tomorrow and leading up into the election. So I'm going to address that in just a minute. Before I do that, I want to answer a question. This is one question I get multiple times from a bunch of different people, and I just want to be transparent. But one of the questions I've been getting asked is, why do I continue to create stimulus videos when I could just create one video when the bill is actually passed? It's a great question, and I want to really address that. My answer is quite simple. My goal here on this channel is to help out as many people as humanly possible. That's my goal. Help them live a better life, whether it's through business, through helping them get stimulus, whatever it may be. That's my goal. But what I've noticed is by creating daily uploads on stimulus, I'm actually helping out and answering questions that my community has on a daily basis. For example, stimulus checks are important. Nobody can deny they are very important, and they will help out millions and millions of Americans. However, that's not the biggest stimulus that will be coming to the majority of people. Unemployment benefits will easily exceed a $1,200 stimulus check. Also, rental assistance will most likely exceed a $1,200 stimulus check. But many people are wondering, well, what's going on? All we hear is a stimulus check. Well, the reason I create daily uploads is because there's always new things happening. Another example, just the other day, I created a video, a second stimulus check update video, where I addressed rental assistance. So people in El Paso will get rental assistance even if they didn't qualify before, because they're increasing their income limits. I also addressed hazard pay because there's a state that's offering hazard pay and there's counties that are offering hazard pay. So I want to be very transparent. That's the reason I create these stimulus uploads on a daily basis, because things are changing all the time. Now, let's talk about where we are currently at and what's going on right now, because again, things are constantly changing. I just want to keep you updated. I want to keep you informed on what's currently going on. Right now, Nancy Pelosi is waiting for Steven Mnuchin and President Trump to get back to her on some of the key issues she outlined on Friday. Okay? So, she is hoping to get these documents back, addressing the key issues tomorrow on Monday. We will see if that happens. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We don't know. Again, this is why it's so important to stay updated on what's going on. In these documents, it is currently being reported that Nancy Pelosi pretty much outlined her key issues and where Democrats are currently at. These things are nothing really new. We know these things. We've been told these things by Nancy Pelosi herself, Steve Mnuchin, Mark Meadows. Okay, we know what she's trying to do. She's trying to get more funding for state and local governments. She's trying to get more funding for unemployment because we have the timeline. We know what the timeline is. We don't know what the funding amount is. Also, liability protections. There's issues there. Both mainly for the language, but it is an issue. School funding, we have issues both in the language and we have issues in the funding. About $95 billion apart there. Childcare funding, United States Postal Service funding, we still have an issue there, and that's just a dollar amount. And we also have an issue on tax credits and tax breaks. Now, we also have one other issue that was being reported, is that stimulus checks have not been agreed upon. Yes, stimulus checks will be included in the next stimulus package, but we do not know if it will be for all dependents, regardless of your age, or will it only be for dependents that are 17 and younger. We still do not know if it will be $1,000 per child or $500 per child. And the last thing, We do not know if it will be for people with an ITIN number or only those with a social security number. Those are all important things that we need to know. The American people deserve to know. If you have an ITIN number and you are hoping, praying for stimulus, well, you deserve to know whether you're going to get it or not. I personally believe, this is just my opinion, if you pay taxes, you should be able to get a stimulus check. Now, what we know is that some of these key issues will easily be resolved. We know this because we know President Trump would easily throw more money at the problem. He's done it before, he can do it again. 3 things that we know we can easily get done by throwing more money at it. The United States Postal Service funding. You can throw more money at it, it will be resolved. Deal's done. School funding is another thing. Throw more money at it, about $95 billion, and deal's done. We can agree there. Also, unemployment. Nancy Pelosi says we're about $200 billion apart. Well, we could easily throw $200 billion at the problem and it will go away. All of these will just require more funding. And what we know is that President Trump will easily do more funding. The problem is it's not just President Trump. The problem is there's actually 3 different parties involved just in the stimulus negotiations. We got Nancy Pelosi and Democrats who are pretty much aligned. They know what they're doing. They're cohesive. They're operating as one. Then we got President Trump and Steve Mnuchin who are negotiating. And then the third party is we have Republicans, specifically Senate Republicans. Currently, the negotiations are only between President Trump and Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, which means that Republicans are hearing about possible concessions, possible increases in the stimulus budget. They are hearing about those after they've already been somewhat decided by the negotiators. And this is making it very difficult because then Republicans have to go and decline support for a larger stimulus package simply because they are offering too many concessions. That is an issue. And that is something I think is going to be very difficult to get over with, especially before the election. Now, this is not good to hear, but it is what's happening right now. So I just want to keep you informed on what's currently going on. The only way forward at this point, many people are saying the only way forward is to accept a larger stimulus package. That's not the case. That's not actually true. The only way forward right now isn't to accept a larger stimulus package. It isn't to write the perfect language in the bill, and it won't be to pass standalone bills. The only way forward right now is to continue negotiating, get as close as we can, and then after the election, Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin will verbally agree on a stimulus package. That's the only way forward that I personally see happening right now. The other question I get all the time is why can't President Trump just sign another executive order and get unemployment flowing, get some money going to the airlines, send out a stimulus check? Why can't he do that? Well, right now what we know is the likelihood of President Trump signing an executive order before the election is very small, especially an executive order to send out money to the American people, because as of right now, the legalities of it are quite high, and many people do not know exactly whether it would be legal for President Trump to do an executive order to send out funds to the American people when we are this close to an election. It would look like a bribe. It would look like he's buying votes. At least that's the way Democrats would spin it, and this would create multiple issues. So the funding would actually never go out. It would be held up, and it wouldn't happen before the election. So why would President Trump put himself through that, make himself look potentially somewhat bad in the eyes of Democrats because he's trying to buy votes, right? So he's not going to do that. At least that's what the reports are saying right now. The executive orders could happen right after the election. And this is what many people are expecting. If a stimulus proposal cannot get agreed upon, and they can't accept it, and it can't get the support from the GOP, then President Trump will, based on this report, actually a couple different reports saying this exact same thing, and have been saying this for a couple weeks, is that President Trump would do another round of executive orders in his lame duck session, which I don't know exactly how that would work, but that is what these reports are saying. The executive orders would most likely be for unemployment and possible airline bailouts. That's really all that's currently being discussed. As far as a stimulus check, there's too much involved there. It would not happen. There'd be too many issues for Democrats if Joe Biden were to win. If President Trump gets reelected, he can kind of do whatever he wants because there's really not a lame duck session. He just can go right into his next presidency. So right now, that is what we know. And as always, as promised, as I know more, I promise I will share more. So just want to thank you guys for watching today's second stimulus check update and stimulus update for Sunday, October 25th. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe so I can keep you updated on all things stimulus. And this week, I promise I'm going to do more videos teaching you different ways to make money online from the comfort of your home. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.